and here we have it in English, and you can just ask as we go along the way. But while I'm sharing my screen, I don't see if you have raised your hand, so you just have to say something, and then I'll hear and answer the question. So this is just a meeting for guardians of students in Tækniskólinn. It's kind of a combination of a meeting for new students or parents of new students, and also just, you know, in general for those who want updated information. I'll go through various information at school start, and it's principal and assistant principal, but I'll just do this on behalf of me and the assistant principal. We'll talk a bit about support to students, and we'll have a study and work counselor with us a bit later. Talk a little bit about social life for students, the parent board, and then take some questions. But as I say, you're welcome to ask along the way. Just to explain a little bit, we are a fairly big school and can be a bit confusing who's a principal and who is who. So Tækniskólinn, we have a little bit over 3,000 students in the school. About roughly 2,000 come to us during the daytime. And we divide and I'm sorry, this slide is not in English, but we divide the school into 7 sub-schools. The school of buildings, which has everything to do with building a house, except for the electrical work. Then we have design and handicraft, where we teach hair, clothes, shoemaking, and goldsmithery. We have Tækniskólinn, which is the electrical school, where we teach all the electrical subjects, as well as if you want to become an electrician or an electronic technician, and also sound engineering and kind of cinematography technology, which is for a bit older students, hljóðtækni and kvikmyndatækni. Then we have Tækniskólinn, and that's, for instance, if you have children that are in the Íslenskubraut, the Icelandic department, they belong to Tækniskólinn. Tækniskólinn teaches in all these different schools as well, because all the different students in different schools, they need to learn English and Icelandic and maths, etc. And that's done through the central school, Tækniskólinn, but the Íslenskubraut is under that. And K2, which is kind of a, like if you want to take students prof with emphasis on science. And then we have Náttúrufræðibraut, which is also for students pro. And then we have Starfsbraut, which is for students, disabled students, or students that are just not quite ready to do normal studies. Then we have Upplýsingatækniskólinn, which is a school of information technology, where we teach about computers and printing and photography and bookbinding and graphic design. Then we have the school of mechanics and ship. I don't know I don't remember what the navigation, where we teach mechanics and different parts of mechanics, marine engineering, and being a captain. And we are starting with some studies regarding the digging into the ground, and also aeromechanics. And then we have Tækniakademian, which is kind of on the 4th level. It's kind of on university level, so it does not apply to your children. But there are school heads for every one of those schools. And I guess most of you have students in Íslenskubraut, and that's Jónadís who heads it. And Steinun, who is with us now, she heads kind of the Icelandic part of it. So they are those who are most in contact with students and parents in the Icelandic department. And then we have a lot of course, teachers. And if I would put a picture of them all, they would be like almost 200 pictures. But I just put a few pictures of others than teachers that kind of many have contact with. And it's the 5 work and study counselors we have: Anna, Þórdís, Halla, Sigurjóna, and Inga-Jóna. Þórdís is most with the Íslenskubraut, but Anna and Halla also. help out, and Inga Jóna in Hafnarfjörður and Sigur Jóna in Háteigsvegur. And Benedict, who is our psychologist, we have free psychologist service for those who need that. And we have a social social life coordinator. We'll talk a bit about that later, and a prevention counselor here on the right. We have a website, and I would like to point out that quite a lot of our website is in English, not everything, but quite, there's like a, you can click, you don't see it on this picture, but there is, you can, here, you can press English, and we are always have more and more of the website in English, and then you of course can use Google Translate as well. And I try, when I'm sending out, as you may have noticed, important messages, I try to put an English version as well, so that as many can understand as possible. And if you have, it's also very good sometimes if you get an email from us, and if you do not understand English very well and not Icelandic, it's better to use the English version to do Google Translate to your own language than the Icelandic, because the translation is better from English. Now the term in our school is split in two halves. School started on January 5th, and it will end in the latter part of May. And instead of teaching maybe 6 subjects for the whole term, we teach maybe 3 subjects for half of the term, and then 3 subjects for the second half of the term. And so the first half finishes on March 4th. Some students may have finished a little bit earlier than that if they're done with all their projects. And then we have winter break on 7th and 8th of March, which are Monday and Tuesday. You can see them here in the middle, the yellow here, vetrarfrí, which is winter break. And then we start again on the 9th of March. And the school should be completely finished on the 17th of March. And then students get their final grades on the 19th of March. Very important to, especially in this system we have, that you start working, the kids start working right away. It's often tempting to do nothing the first couple of weeks, but as the term is only 7 to 8 weeks, it's important for each half to just start right away. They have, in general, in each subject, 8 hours a week, and so they'll quickly have assignments and tests to do. I did not change this word to English because I just want to say it in Icelandic. It's valvika. It's the week of choice. It's basically when your students are to choose for the next term. If they're an Íslenskubraut, maybe level 2, it's very, I mean, we help them with this, they apply for level 3. But if they're, for instance, finishing Íslenskubraut and want to apply for a different subject, maybe go into electronics or plumbing or whatever, they do that in that week. They have to, and just, we send out information how to do this, and also just please ask for assistance to do that. Your kids may have sports in their timetable. We have so-called academic sports where you just go in class and learn theoretically about sports, and then there is the sports hours that are demanded that you exercise. And this is very often, students maybe do everything except for this. They may be doing really well in all their subjects, but they fail doing the sports. They don't show up for it, don't do anything, and then they want to do something in the last week, and that's just too late. Sports teaching in the school, we do not have very good facilities, but it's very versatile. You can meet a sport teacher and just do an assignment that you go out walking 2 or 3 times a week. You can go swimming, you can go hiking, you can do a lot of things. You can do sports with, if you're maybe practicing soccer, you can do assignment for that. So please encourage them to see their sport teacher and figure out how they implement their sports. So we are very flexible. We have small kind of gyms in the in Skólaverðarholt, where the Icelandic department is, and in Hádegisvegur as well, where the information technology school and school of navigation and mechanics is. We have small rooms where you can exercise, and people can also go swimming in Untitled swim hall. In Hafnarfjörður, the students can go to World Class, which is a big gym there. So if you have, if your daughter or son has a, or the relative you're on behalf of has a sports at 9:15 on Monday mornings in the timetable, they're not to show up then. It's just that if you're not just coming straight out of secondary school, it's very flexible when you can do your sport. So they just put it at 9:15, so it's in your timetable, but there is no class at 9:15. It's just kind of a systematic thing for the system. But this should be explained quite well by the sports teachers. Now, I had not had time to change this to English, but I will explain it. We are now in our 23rd month of COVID. As you know, it's our 5th term we start where COVID is harassing us. And it's very important to just be ready that we might need to go into distance learning at some point. Maybe with some studies, maybe with everything, maybe with nothing, hopefully as little as possible. But it's important that we are ready using the tools we need. In the website, there is a link called COVID-19. And in that, there are a lot of, not all of this is translated to English, but a lot of it is. But there is a link here, tölvuþjónusta, which is computer service. And in that, there are a lot of videos on how to set up Teams, how to connect to, how to use your school email, and how to do a lot of things. So I know Steinun can maybe talk about that. You have been going through with, gotten some from the computer department to teach students about this. Isn't that right? You may be on mute.
I am on mute, not now, yes, but only with the first level students. We had assistance from the computer department there, but the others should be used to or should know how to use Teams.
Yeah.
Because they've done it before.
Yes, and one thing, in fact, you only need a phone, a smartphone to be able to use Teams. It's of course best to have a computer, but if you don't have a computer, you can use your phone. And but if we get into, and I hope that will not happen, but if we would get into prolonged distance learning and you do not have a computer at home, you can borrow a computer from the school. And that would go through a study counselor. And we have, when we had to lock our school down 3 terms ago, some of the students borrowed equipment from us so that they could continue studying as well as they could. And I just want to give compliment through you to your children on mask wearing. I've never seen it as good as now. It's when I walk through the school, of course, when they sit down to eat for lunch or something like that with their friends, they take off their mask, and that's okay. But in general, walking through the halls, in the classrooms, etc., people are doing really, really well. And it is extremely important that we continue on with this now when there's so much COVID in our society, because we just want to keep our school open, and we want to, if someone is infected, that it doesn't get everyone else infected. We're just on the mission to be able to teach your kids at school and not have to have half of them at home. If your kids are sick due to COVID or are in quarantine, sóttkví, like when they don't have COVID, but they have been with someone who had COVID and they have to stay at home. And I'm sorry, this is not in English, but I don't know if they have translated this yet, but otherwise go and use Google Translate. But if the student is younger than 18, you can register them that they are sick, and we ask you to put a comment when you register them in INNA, to put a comment that they are either in quarantine or they are in isolation, and also send an email to tækniskólinn@tækniskólinn.is with information, like for instance, John Smith is in quarantine until January 16th. And then we know, and then we can let the teachers know, and especially if they're going to be if they're in isolation due to COVID for a long time, it's very good for us to know, so we can service them the best we can. INNA is the information system we use. Now, I don't know if you have all tried going into INNA, but if you have electronic ID on your phone and you are guardians of your children and they are below 18 years of age, you can go into INNA and you can see the progress your kid is making. I think there is I'm sorry, this is also in Icelandic, but I think there is you can see this in English as well. There is like a button or something in where you can see at least some things in English. And there you can see the timetable. You can see if a teacher is away for some reason. You can see if there are some information that has been sent to the students, and when they have tests, etc. And you can also see how they're doing, their grades. And when when your students are under 18 years of age, you register if they're sick in INNA. When they're older than 18, they can do that themselves. And yes, okay, I think that's enough on that. When your children turn 18, I'm gonna just unshare this for a minute. When your children turn 18 years of age, the access to INNA goes away, except if they do a thing in INNA to allow you to continue seeing, because when they're 18, they are, do you know the name for it? They're sjálfráða, they can, they are independent. And so this access goes away for you, but there is a button where they can mark and say that they continue to allow you to have access to INNA. And I encourage you to, ask that of your children, but it is their choice. But I often say that as long as they're living at home and you are feeding them and taking care of them, it should be quite normal that you would be able to follow how they're doing in their studies. And it's often just good for them. It gives them better support that you are well aware of what they're doing. And also when they turn 18, you stop getting the bills from the school into your home bank in heimabanki. It goes into your children's heimabanki. And sometimes just so be aware when they turn 18, watch out for that and ask them to check if they have gotten a bill from the school, for the next term. Sometimes they don't kind of realize and haven't checked it, and then we think they are quitting school, and so we just it's a time to be aware of. A lot of things change when your kids turn 18. You don't have access to INNA except they let you. You don't have access to heilsuvera anymore. in a blink of an eye. They go from being your children to being grown-ups in the system. We have with us, is Þórdís here yet? No, but maybe just Jónadís is now with us here. You can see she's sitting in a tent, and I don't know if all of you have seen her before, but she is heads the Tækniskólinn, and Steinunn is then kind of heads the Icelandic department.
So I was in another meeting, so I'm sorry that I'm late.
Yes, she was in the extended Icelandic version,
Yes.
answering. It took us a little bit longer time. Yeah.
Nice to see you.
Yeah.
At least.
Yes. So I'm Þórdís, I think, was going to be with us. I'm kind of waiting for her, our study counselor, but we have, as I say, we have a psychologist who gives, it doesn't cost anything to go to the psychologist at our school. And we also have study counselors, and Þórdís is the one who is most with the Íslenskubraut, isn't she, Jónadís?
Yes, yes.
And some of you may have met. And we just really want you to, if there are some problems, something is going on, your kids are not feeling too good, there's something going on with school or friends or whatever, just talk to us sooner than later. Don't hesitate to be in touch. We want them to feel well at school. We want them to do well, and it's so we are there to help if there is something. Jónadís, would you maybe, can you tell me, is everyone in here that has a student in Íslenskubraut, or is there someone here else that has a student in some other department?
No, okay. That's great.
Okay.
Steinunn is going to tell us about Íslenskubraut.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm just wondering if the slideshow we have is too long, Jónadís.
You're on mute, Jónadís.
You just skip then. Just show them the most important things.
Okay, then I'm gonna share a slideshow with you. This is just so, sorry. It's a little bit slow here. This is what Hildur just showed you, but there are actually more than 100 students studying at Íslenskubraut at this moment. And I would just maybe like to show you, we have 4 levels, that is 4 semesters. The first semester is completely Icelandic. I'm going to go to another slide, I think. Well, I can tell you about this one. So we mostly teach Icelandic on the first level, which is the first semester, but we also have computers and we have sports. Everyone has sports, so it's really important that you talk to your children about the sports class because they have to attend. Many of them are failing sports because they don't realize that they have to take it. The same goes for level 2. Then we add math. Stærðfræði is mathematics, and they also have sports. The Icelandic, they have a little bit less of Icelandic courses on the 3rd and 4th level. They have English on the 3rd one and sports, and then they have like what should we call it, Jónadís? Verkstæði, where they learn skills. They get to sew and they get to draw, and they have some computer like Photoshop course that they are doing just to explore a little bit what they can learn at school, at Tækniskólinn. and they have different teachers, but the teachers, they also learn a little more Icelandic using terms that we don't use normally in Icelandic class. So the same goes for the 4th level, but there they have lífsleikni, it's like life skills. It's a course that's called life skills. And then they also have the verkstæði, it's like a workshop course. You can see one of our students here. They for the first time now they have a little bit of carpentry in the workshop. When they begin, when they're new, they have an admission interview and they talk to a student counselor. But we always, if you want to meet us and if you feel like you have to have a meeting with us, we can also always provide an interpreter if you feel better speaking your own language than English. I don't think this is necessary. Do you think so, Jónadís? No, I don't think so. It's just a little bit.
No, I don't think so.
No, it's just a little bit more about the admission interview. The admission interview is only to gather more information about your student, about our students, your children, because many of them don't come from the elementary school, and we know very little about your children. So it's just a little bit to get to know them and they get to know us and what the school is about. So this is the program, actually. This is the plan we have. This is the first semester, and here you see the Icelandic courses. We have sports and information, the computer class. The second level, so you can see how many courses your children have. When they finish the Íslensku braut, they have, and they continue with us, they have the opportunity to take Icelandic, continue with Icelandic for foreigners, which is a more simplified course of Icelandic than the Icelandic students get. Well, they get to, when they begin school, they take a special course that's called Hvað, or what in English, and they get to know, they get an introduction of all the services we provide. We have regular status assessment. Well, in the Icelandic department, we don't have like final exams, and we actually don't have that much of it at school in general. So there's a continuous assessment, and we let the kids know, but it's good that they, get a push also from home, that they have to turn in the assignments and they have to prepare for exams, etc., because we are always evaluating them on a regular basis. Okay, and the Hvað group is what I was talking about earlier. That's only for the newcomers, and it's just so they get to know school and all the services and get to see the faces of the people that provide those services. Okay, so this is the student support we provide at school. We have the career or student counselors, and we have a student coordinator. We have a prevention and life skills counselor, the psychologist that Hildur talked about. They can get assistance with their homework at the library. It's called námsver, and we have peer assistance also. But what we had before COVID, and we want to begin again, is the Buddies project. We paired Icelandic and Icelandic students and students from the Icelandic department. So they got together, they got to know Icelandic students, they could say hi to them in the hallway. They met once a week. We had some fun nights together where we were playing, and they had some pizza night, etc. But that, of course, stopped during COVID. But we really want to do it again to help them with the inclusion at school. And we took a trip, and hopefully we can do that again also. But this is basically, Hildur had told you more or less what this all was about. Have I stopped sharing? Is the PowerPoint gone?
Yes, it's gone.
Okay. But if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them. I know it's a little bit fast, this overview, but it's just so you see more or less what this is about. But after the Icelandic department, when they have learned enough Icelandic to continue with general studies, that's our goal, actually. This is our aim, is to help them get enough Icelandic knowledge to be able to continue with the studies that they would like to continue with, of their choice. Whether it be at our school or any other school.
Yeah. And we just love when they graduate twice, first from the Íslensku braut and then they finish. We had some finished now at Christmas time, from plumbing and from náttúrufræðibraut and
from hairdressing.
Yes.
So they are doing well.
Extremely
happy.
Yes.
Yeah. It makes us really proud and happy when we see them graduate from our school with a diploma and a career in front of them.
And actually, they don't want to quit. They want to stay with us.
Yeah.
So that's really good.
There was, in the Icelandic version, there was a couple of women who were telling about the parent board. We have in a lot of schools, there's like a parent association and a parent board, which helps us with to get the view of the parents. And it's kind of been in a coma for a few years. The parents who were running the parent association and the parent board, they quit having their students graduated out of the school and nobody came instead. And so we are trying to revive it now. And we have got two great ladies who are now on the parent board and asking for some more parents to join. And there is like a parent association that I'll send a link tomorrow with their Facebook page. And they have, for instance, started now a Facebook page where if you need to exchange books, if you have maybe a book to sell and need a book to buy, that the students can sell to each other used books rather than having to go to. A lot of students choose that, but it's because it's cheaper than buying a new book. And a little bit about social life. We have like a social life coordinator. His name is Þorvaldur or Valdi. I can show you a picture of him again. This was an Icelandic version. Maybe just to Steinar went over this with the different work and study counselors and social life coordinators, etc. And the social life coordinator, this is his face here. Here he is, maybe not very friendly man who helps students with coordinating social life events. We have all kinds of clubs, play like Dungeons and Dragons clubs and computer clubs, and we are putting now up on this term there's a theatrical club, and several more things. And if your kids are interested in doing something, they want to socialize with meeting other students and they have some interest, they can contact Valdi and he can help them out. And we have, like with this buddies program Steinar was telling you about, we started that 2.5 years ago. to try to get a better connection between the students in the Íslenskubraut and some Icelandic students, and that has also been in kind of a coma due to COVID. Everything has been quite difficult to, you know how the past 22 months have been, and it will be for a little bit longer, I think, before we can return to completely normal school life with everything that comes with it. So I think we should just leave it to if you have questions for us. Yes, Peter and Alicia.
Hi, good evening. I have a question related to the sport class because my daughter, she has been in the gym for more than a year and her grades were not so good. So I would like to know how is evaluated the sport class. I don't know if it was clear, my question.
Yeah, it's clear. Jónadís, I think we would just someone waiting for someone else to better Jónadís answers.
She have to talk to the sport teacher and make a contract and show them that she is doing something outside of the school.
Yeah, actually she did it, and for that reason is my question. And I asked her, did you already talk with him, or if I can do it, that will be wonderful. I book an appointment with the teacher. And more because soon she will be 18, and like you were saying, I don't want to be out of her grades.
No, she has to open INNA for you.
Yes.
Yeah.
You have to tell her about that.
Just say to your kids that the principal has said that they are supposed to open INNA for you.
Okay.
When they are staying
as long as you feed them and clothe them. Yeah.
But tell her to come to my office, and I can help her with that.
Okay, thank you so much. I will tell her.
Yes, tell her.
Thank you so nice.
I'm in room 314.
314?
Yes.
Okay.
It's here, and I will put my email also here.
In the chat, you know how to open the chat.
The chat, if you want to. If you want to send me email or contact me, I'm really bad answering phones, but I'm good in email.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
So you can send me your phone number and I can call, because people are calling me the whole day. So I'm actually then I wouldn't work anything.
Yeah, I will.
So if you have any questions, anything, send me an email, send me your phone number, I will call.
Jónadís is very good at calling back.
Yes, I'm good at that.
Good at picking up. Yeah. So. But
I see I have been in contact with people here. For example, Imelda. Nice to see you, Imelda.
Já, mér langar að spyrja eitt líka.
Já, gjör svo vel.
Já, sambandi með svona dóttir minn.
Já.
Hún komin til Íslands síðastan október, en þar kynítala ennþá í...
Já, ekki komin.
Ekki komin. En einhvað svona annan leið til að hana komast inn í INNA.
Já, sko, við ætluðum að hittast og svo er hún ekki búin að vera í skólanum.
Já.
Og ég var að fá tölvupóst frá henni bara rétt áður en fundurinn byrjaði og ég skal bara tala við hana á morgun og hjálpa henni.
Ok, takk fyrir.
Ég er með leið.
Já, ég hef ekki áhyggjur af því hún alltaf spyrja mig.
Ég veit að hún er mjög mikið að passa allt saman.
Já, hún er að passa allt saman, sko. Hún er svona dólig að læra.
Já.
Hún er dólig að læra íslensku. Ég sagði þú verður að gera það, að því annars þú bráðum verður 18 ára en...
Ég skal hjálpa henni á morgun, ekkert mál.
Ok, takk fyrir.
Já, kannski bara hringi hana.
Ok, takk fyrir það, Jóna minn.
Ekkert mál, gaman að sjá þig.
So ladies.
But it is just, you know, I know your kids can be impatient that they want to, learn something else, and why do I need to learn Icelandic and everything? But it is so important, as you may know, if you want to be a part of the society and to learn our language. and to learn about our culture and have all the different study options ahead of you. So it's time well invested. And now we have Þórdís with us, who is the study and work counselor who works most with Íslenskubraut. You maybe want to introduce yourself, Þórdís.
Good evening. I completely forgot this meeting. So I'm sorry how late I am. Anyway, yes, I talk to a lot of students on Íslenskubraut and help them with different things. And they are all welcome to me. It's best to go to Inna to make an appointment. You go under viðtalstímar in Inna, and then you can choose a time that suits you. If you want to come with your child, that can be good too. Yeah, I talk to them about the future, what they want to learn and where they can study, and if they're having any problems in the school. The teachers are very helpful too, as I'm sure you have noticed, and Jónadís. So we are all there to help them make progress and to feel safe and be happy with us.
You can also send me email about Þórdís, and I can help you to contact her.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not a problem.
Yeah. Yeah, you can send me email also.
Yeah.
Yeah. So do you have any questions for me?
Yeah. If not, I just want to really thank you for giving yourself the time and being with us and supporting your children. And if there's anything, just please contact us. We want to help out making everything work as well as possible.
Thanks to you. Good night.
Good night.
Thank you.
Nice to
Okay,
see
so
you.
good night, everyone. Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.
Bye.
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 Good night. Good night.
Bless, takk fyrir.
Bless.
Takk.
Takk.
Takk. Nei.
Voru góðar? Já, bara.